Hey, Cafe of Knowledge. Hey, today we really gonna have to use our knowledge today because today I'm gonna substitute a word. Now today I'm gonna use the word dot. Okay. If you put a rhymes with a word that starts with an S. Okay. And for some reason, you know, a lot of people don't want people to talk or say that certain word, so I'm gonna use dot. Okay, and if you kind of put an S in it, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But that's why we have the knowledge family, because when I start talking, you all will really know what I'm talking about. Okay, so now I want to talk about this new racism that we have going on here in America. Okay, and it's a new and improved. It's new and improved racism. Okay, that's going on with the citizens in the United States. Okay, and I just want to talk about that because I don't care who has the dot and who do not have the dot, or who will get the dot, or who will not get the dot. Okay, but I do think that everyone at least should wear masks. Okay, and that's just to keep the particles within yourself. Okay, I really do think that, you know, people should wear a mask just to keep their particles within them, whether they cough, sneeze, or whatever, you know, talk. I think particles should stay within themselves. Okay, now that's what I have to say about that. Now this video is not about who has the dot and who do not have the dot. Okay, this video is about the new and improved discrimination and racism that is going on between the citizens inside the United States. Okay, now, so that's all I basically want to touch on, is the new racism that we have going on between each other. Now, you know, black people and white people have been trying to get along very well for the past little decade, I see. Trying to get along. But now, I guess it brings out a new racism to where you got everybody, no matter what color you are, is kind of participating. Not everybody, but most people are. I'm going to say most people are. Majority of people are participating in this new racism that we have going on and new discrimination that we have going on. Okay, now, this video is about how the racism and discrimination have been brewing, just brewing between all nationalities, whites, blacks, and everywhere inside the United States. It's been brewing hot and heavy, this new racism that we have going on, and this new problem, this new and improved racism and discrimination problem that we do have going on inside this United States. Now, you know, American citizens, black and white, have been trying to work very hard to improve racism and discrimination. But now we have this new thing that has become a part of the United States citizens discriminating against each other. Okay? Now, because discrimination and racism was a big part of America's history, okay, it's easy to fall back or to form racism into a new style. See, because America was built on racism, it's kind of easy for America to reach back and grab and form racism again, because it's easy to do, because that's the history of America. Okay? Even though you have some white people and black people in this United States as citizens who have been trying to overcome this problem. But because it's the history of America, it seems like Americans are always find a way to grab racism back and restart and reform it in a new style. Okay? So now, we have each other. We have this major divide between our citizens in this so-called greatest country in the world. Okay? This discrimination and racism has been publicized all over the TVs, all over the internet, everywhere. It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking to see this new discrimination, this new style of discrimination that's going on between our American citizens. Don't matter what color you are. It's just heartbreaking to see. And especially, it's heartbreaking to see black people discriminating against other black people and other people, period, because of any type of nationality. It's especially hard to see black people discriminate against anybody, because black people are the ones who know how discrimination and racism feels. Out of any other nationality in this United States, black people knows how it feels to be discriminated against and how it feels to endure racism. Okay? So now, let's go back to this publicizing this discrimination and this new style of racism, because this video here is all about humanity. Okay? Rather a person has a dot, or rather a person don't have a dot, they are still a United States American citizen. Okay? Inside this country. Now, we talk about only discrimination. This is what this is. Only discrimination. See, I don't want to talk about anything else but this new discrimination that the United States has going on between all cultures. Okay? It's citizens versus citizens. All day, every hour, on the hour, it's discrimination. It's brewing heavy in the United States. And it doesn't matter what color you are. See, now, this new style of discrimination, you got some states that people without a dot can't go inside some restaurants to eat. I remember when my grandfather and my great-grandfather couldn't go in a restaurant to eat simply because of the color of their skin. I see some resemblance here. In some states, people without the dot are denied employment or either fired from their employment. I remember when my grandfather and my great-grandfather was denied employment and fired simply because of the color of their skin. I see some resemblance. You got some states that restaurants and stores, grocery stores or supermarkets or whatever. You got some states that supermarkets got a sign on the door that says dotted only Dotted people only can come in. I remember when my grandparents saw a sign on restaurants and grocery stores and supermarkets too that said whites only. I see some resemblance. It's some states, that people with no dot can't attend the movies, can't attend events, they can't attend concerts, and a lot more. If you people who don't have that dot, they can't go to attend these events. I remember when my grandparents could not attend events, couldn't go to the movies, couldn't go to concerts, simply because of the color of their skin. I see some resemblance. Some of these concerts and different activities, and you go, you have some movies and stuff, they do say that people with no dot are not allowed to enter. And I do remember when my grandparents would try to go to the movies and go to the supermarkets or go wherever, that there's a sign that says no colors allowed. I see some resemblance. You got some states that have people with no dot or being denied hospital treatment or a lack of hospital treatment. I remember my grandparents was denied medical treatment or thereof had lack of medical treatment. Just because of the color of their skin. I see some resemblance. Some states, the children with no dot are not allowed to attend school. I remember my grandparents and my great-grandparents was denied education because of the color of their skin. In some states, there are some white people and some black people who are talking very harshly and talking down about people with no dot. I remember in slavery, some white people and some black people would talk very harshly and talk very bad and talk very down about people who wouldn't do what Master say. I see some resemblance. Yeah, some states are stripping away people's livelihood that have no dot. I remember when my grandparents and my great-grandparents were stripped away of their livelihood simply because of the color of their skin. I see some resemblance. You got some states that families are separating themselves from each other. Oh, she or he don't have the dot, so I don't want them at the Thanksgiving. He or she don't have the dot, I don't want them coming to Christmas. He or she don't have the dot, they can't come over my house. He or she don't have the dot. We separate ourselves. I've seen families separate themselves from their children, from their parents, from their siblings, from their grandchildren, from their spouses, from their partners who do not have that dot. I remember in slavery, families was separated from their parents, from their family, from their siblings, from their mother, from their father, from their grandfather, from everybody. Because that's what they was forced to do. I see some resemblance here. So, I can't believe, and another thing, I've seen where people who do not have the dot are excluded from things, treated like they are less than, treated like they are not valuable, treated like they are so beneath others. And I remember when my grandparents, great-grandparents, were treated like they was less than, like they wasn't valued. I see some resemblance here. And I can't believe in 2021 and beyond that this nation, the United States, still finds some kind of way to keep discrimination and racism alive. And brewing hard. Brewing hard. The only solution American can find to a major problem, see, I'm trying to figure this out. Why is it that the only solution Americans can find to a major problem is to divide the citizens and have some American citizens discriminate against each other? Hard to believe. I'm trying to figure out, why is it that when there's a major problem, why is it that the solution to that problem has to be discrimination and racism towards citizens inside the United States? I don't get it. You got this half over here and this half over here. I remember when blacks was over here. Now see, I remember when blacks was over here, whites was over here. And it would, no matter what you do, you couldn't bring them together at one time. Right? And right here today, you have citizens of all colors are pushing some citizens over here and some citizens over here, and they just going at it and just going at it. You're not better than me, and I don't want you around me, and this and that and that. The new racism and the new discrimination, the new style. And American is proud. American are proud of this new racism that's formed. And see, now, everybody see what racism feels like. See. But I'm just disappointed in black people are participating in this, because out of all people, we are the ones who understand how discrimination and racism feels. But yet, we join the crowd and become part of the very thing that we was fighting, that we don't want people to do to us. Can you hear me now? For the ones in the back. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I see some resemblance here, you know. Now, it's funny that when these disasters hit, when the disaster hit and the hurricanes came rumbling through the United States, hurricanes started from one side of the globe all the way to the other side of the globe. Started down on the south end, ended up on the northern eastern end. Right? Tearing up something. Destruction everywhere. Floods everywhere. Hit the United States hard. Destruction everywhere. Floods everywhere. Oh, it was terrible. I didn't see one person decline help or refuse help from anyone who have the dot or didn't have the dot. Oh no! Didn't decline help. Didn't decline help. If somebody was stuck in flood water up to their chest and somebody came to rescue their ass, they didn't ask if, hey, don't rescue me unless you have a dot. If you don't have the dot, I'll sit here and drown. I ain't see it once. I didn't see it once. When people had to be saved all across the United States, when people had to be saved, whether it was from a fire, forest fire, or whether it was from a hurricane that hit destruction, I didn't see one person who wanted to be saved or who needed to be saved ask that person who was saving them, do you have a dot? Or do you not have a dot? Because if you don't have that dot, I don't want your help. I sit here and drown, or I sit here and burn up in the fire. But I'd rather burn up and drown. I don't want your help if you don't have a dot. I didn't hear it going on. You know why? Because in the midst of a disaster, when people needed help and needed to be saved and they were fighting for their life. And whoever came to help them and save them, they gave a damn about what they had. They didn't give a damn if that person had. I didn't see one person get rescued from a boat and stop and say, hey, now before you rescue me, do you have a dot? Or you don't have a dot? Because if you don't have a dot, I don't want you to rescue me. Go on. No, they didn't do that. You know why? So I'm trying to figure out. The person without that dot is good enough to save your ass, but they're not good enough to stand in the same restaurant as you with a mask on. Oh, can you hear me now? Oh, can you hear me now? Ooh, the high power working. He working. He working this message. Yeah. See, you remember when, back in slavery, the black people were good enough to chop crops, to pull corn, to build buildings, to pick cotton, all this stuff for the beneficial for people to live on. All black people was good enough to work their ass off to help people, help white people eat, have things for their business and all that. That was good enough to work for them, but wasn't good enough to eat at the same table with the very same people they worked their ass for. And here you go today. People with no dot can rescue your ass, save your ass. Oh, in the midst of a tragedy. When you want help, but they're not good enough to sit in the same movie theater as you, sit in the same restaurant as you, go to the same concert with you, because they don't have that dot. Ooh, I see some resemblance. I see some resemblance. So, after I save your ass, I'm not good enough to sit at the same table with your ass. What kind of shit is this? You know, see, all that didn't come up when people needed help. Think about it. Think about it. Boy, when people with cars was flooded and needed help to get up out of that flood water, when people was trapped into their homes, needed help to get out that home. People's houses caught on fire, needed help to come out of that fire, that heat. Heat, needed help. People was floating, people drowning, trying not to drown. They needed that help. And when help came along, and when help do come along, because there's plenty things in the future that we gonna need. People gonna need help. And you tell me how many times you heard a person stop somebody from saving their ass and ask them, do you have a dot or you don't have a dot? Because if you don't have a dot, I don't want you to save me. I'll burn up in this forest fire. I'll burn up in this house. I'll drown in this flood before I let anybody that don't have a dot help me. Did you hear that? Hell no, you didn't. Because it don't make a difference when it comes to something like that. But that's what I'm talking about. How got to think how you treat people. Because you never know when you going to need them same people. Yeah, But see, we don't think like that. Because see, racism and discrimination don't make us think logically. You know? See, just think about it. See, if we, as American citizens, see, back in the day, in slavery, you wish that someone of an opposite color than black can just look at a black person and take away and treat them the same with humanity. See, racism and discrimination only comes from the bigger picture. The bigger picture is how a person looks at you. And how that person looks at you and how that person perceives you in your color. See, this is back in racism, see. Y'all follow me here. See, this is back here in racism, okay? So, when a person looks at a black person in racism, you could have stopped the racism if you just looked at that person as an equal. If everybody who looked at a black person would look at a black person as an equal, we wouldn't have to address the racism and discrimination. But because they didn't look at them equally, now we got to address racism and discrimination. So the bigger problem is the way you perceive somebody. And that's the problem that needs to be fixed without racism. See what I'm saying? So if you have to focus on what can I do to make things better here, to where when you look at me, you don't look at me as racist. Like you don't look at me like I'm a problem to you because of the color of my skin. Okay? So if we can get everybody to look at each other equal on this end, we wouldn't have to worry about discrimination. And that's the same thing with this thing here is going on. So you find a solution to how can I look at a black person, white person, or whatever. How can I look at that person without automatically using racism or discrimination against them. See, if we address that problem, we won't have to worry about addressing the actions of racism and discrimination, because everybody is already talking to themselves and helping themselves understand each other better. And that's the same thing what's going on here. If we can just address the problem that's creating the racism, which is the dot and no dot, find a better solution right here. Find a better solution to help this problem instead of making this problem create discrimination and racism. So see, if we focus more on eliminating this big problem, this major problem, then we won't have to use discrimination and racism to bag up this problem. See, it's much easier to discriminate against somebody than to fix the damn problem. Okay? And I don't give a damn what fix means. It means that find something better, or find something other than pitting citizens of the United States against each other. Citizens versus citizens. What kind of shit is that? This country will never be able to build to a better future if you got one side of citizens disliking the other side of citizens. From simply as a goddamn dot. Who has the dot and who don't have the dot. So you mean to tell me how in the hell can you build America to be a better America and be a greater America if only half the citizens is working together and the other half is working together somewhere else? Because see, right now you got it where these citizens is so-called better than these citizens. Or these citizens are being downgraded, neglected, and treated like shit. So how can America come together and build a better America whenever you got citizens versus citizens? Boy, I tell you, you can't make this kind of stuff up right here. There's no way America can build together if they divide. No way. No way. I don't give a damn what you say. You know what I'm saying? And it just killed me that after a person has finished saving somebody's ass during any type of disaster, anybody right now who is watching this can walk out their door and something can happen. You can get ready to get in your car and somebody is trying to rob you, mug you or something, and there might be a good Samaritan somewhere that can save your ass. And are you going to turn around and ask that person, hey, do you got a dot or not? Because if you don't have a dot, then I don't want you to save me. Just let this person here rob and mug me. I don't need your help. You going to say that? Hell no. Boy, you going to be hoping somebody come up from somewhere and help your ass. And you not going to ask and question, do they have a dot or don't have a dot? So, how in the hell is that person good enough to save your ass during a robbery? But then when you get ready to sit down and eat, you tell that person that just saved your ass they not good enough to sit at the same table with you or go in the same restaurant you went in. Boy, y'all will say that, whoa, it's some confused stuff going on around here. And the sad part is, people pick a bank off of what other people do. Well, no matter whether it's right or wrong, they pick a bank off of it. Piggy bank off of it. But see, I know what it's like to be discriminated against. That's why I discriminate against no one, no nationality. I don't care what color skin you have. I don't discriminate against anyone because I definitely definitely know how it feels to be discriminated against. And it's no way I'll pass that same behavior to nobody else. Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. Because I know how it feels to be discriminated against. See, there's some people that's new to this discrimination. But I know a group of people who are not new to this, and this is black people. So, I'm especially shocked that there are some black people that are portraying racism, this new style of racism, towards other races. When we are the ones who are always talking about discrimination and racism. So, when a person say they don't have the dot or they do have the dot, you know, what a person do is them. But what I'm not going to do is discriminate against them. I'm going to take the proper precautions for my health. You know, and like I said at the beginning, I do feel that everyone should wear masks to keep the particles to themselves. What people do from then on out, from themselves, you know, that's what they do. But I do prefer that everybody wear a mask to keep the particles in. Any type of particles in that they got going on. Okay? But discriminating against my fellow citizen, whether they black, white, purple, green, whatever, any type of nationality, that's something that I will not do. Can't do. And I'm shocked that we have this thing called war on the dotted. On the war against the ones who do not have that dot. War versus war. War against them. You know? Citizens versus citizens. What type of shit is that in the United States? Citizens versus citizens. Boy, I'm going to tell you, y'all talking about all this, we talking about all this hurricane coming in, going from one state to the other, destruction one state to another. I'm telling you, I said this before, that the higher power, and some people might not believe in the higher power. I don't care who you believe in and what you worship or none of that. But what I can say is that this national disaster phase and this national stuff that's brewing, just coming in and tearing up the United States. And the crazy part is, I looked at it as these hurricanes came in and went from the south all the way to the north. That was to try to bring people together. And it still failed. Because once everybody came together, didn't give a damn if somebody had a dot or did not have a dot. Oh, everybody was helping each other, needed each other, leaning on each other, needed somebody for rescue, all that. Everybody. But as soon as everybody called themselves safe, at least alive, right back to the discrimination stuff. Boy, America got a lot of work to do. Got a lot of work to do. Because for some reason, we seem to always go back to what America was built on. Racism and discrimination. Why? When it's 2021 and beyond. Why is it that we always got to reach back to racism to so-called solve a problem? We got to find a better way. And it's a better way to solve any problem without discriminating against each other as citizens of the United States. It's a better way. It's a better way. It's a better way. It's a better way. And it's up to everybody to find it within their self, inside their heart, to make that happen. Because rather you have some that have dot, some who don't have dot still get sick. Some get sicker than others. Understand that. But like I said, this ain't what this video is about. This video is about why in the hell are we discriminating against each other living in the same United States as citizens? How in the hell are we supposed to build this United States even better for our kids, for our grandkids, and our grandkids' kids? How in the hell are we supposed to make America better when we got all this divide and racism going among each other in 2021 and beyond? Lord have mercy. If we don't get it together, United States, it's going to crash. It's going to crash. You know, how is America going to build this country to be better America, to be a better America, if we discriminating against each other every day, all day, on the hour, and promoting it all over the airways about how a person with no dot and a person with a dot is better than the other. I don't see how y'all gonna do this. This is straight disturbing. Straight disturbing. And like I said, when is it gonna come a time where America stop going back to racism and discrimination to make stuff work for them? That's all I want to know. When is America going to stop grabbing and holding on to racism and discrimination when a problem come up and start bringing that back up? When is America going to even stop doing this? Stop discriminating. The greatest country in the world. But we can't stop discriminating against each other. Can't stop using racism against each other. Because anytime there is a major problem, or anytime that America wants stuff to work their way, that's the first thing they go back and grab. The history of discrimination and racism. Oh yeah, that's the history, and that's what does good, and that's what beats the odds. Racism and discrimination. We don't know nothing else to go to but that. Even though it's the history of America. How come we can't find the knowledge to cease, chop, and eliminate that behavior against our very own citizens of the United States? To make something happen. Why can't we make things happen without discrimination and without racism? Y'all let me know. Because I can tell you right now, things gonna have to change. America can't keep resorting back to discrimination and racism against other people when people don't want to do what you say do. We start discriminating against them. America can't keep resorting back to discrimination and racism because they feel that's the way to pressure somebody and make them feel bad. It's got to be another way. That's all I have to say about that. Gain knowledge to prevent blockage. And we all know what that means. The more you know, the harder it is for anybody to block y'all from your goals and success. Bye-bye. People need to think about what they're doing before they start discriminating against others.